Hey everyone, welcome to an advanced sports analytics tutorial on how to use our projections and optimization tool to integrate into a SuperDraft lineup build and multi-lineup CSV upload. So I'm going to be building 20 lineups for this NFL extra point dollar entry, about 3,000 person contest. SuperDraft has an upload feature built into the lineup selection interface. So we want to start by downloading the CSV, which we will input our lineups that we create through the ASA optimizer into that CSV. So we can go to advancedsportsanalytics.com, go to our quick slant projection tool. And we're building this for the Sunday-only slate, so we can delete out these teams that played yesterday so that we're left with Sunday teams. Select onto SuperDraft. And I'm going to try to mimic some of the rules that we discussed in the Substack article. So we discussed particular interests in focusing on Kansas City and New Orleans stack. So we want to fade Baker Mayfield and Brady. One group that we discussed is wanting to avoid pairing Travis Kelce with Tyreek Hill, even with Mahomes stacks. Simply put, these guys both at 1x and with Mahomes at 1x, feels like there are few routes to Mahomes plus Kelce plus Hill, all at 1x, reaching a ceiling that is needed to, win at nearly 3,000 contestants, significant size field. So we want to avoid, I guess, using 3 roster spots on guys that are all 1x. Particularly, it's not so much that we want to avoid 3 roster spots with 1x guys, but the fact that Hill and Kamara have neutral at best correlation feels problematic maybe to use 2 roster spots on 1x guys on the same team that don't really have plays that directly benefit both of them, right? Like, Mahomes plus Kelce, Mahomes plus Hill makes sense as 1x because they're direct correlates, right? Pass touchdown to either one of those guys benefits both. I'm also going to add a rule to prevent the pairing of Demarcus Robinson and McCole Hardman. Both have fine, multipliers. With Watkins out, it seems reasonable to expect that one of these guys will have, a solid game, and at their multiplication level, I think we're okay with that. We have seen in the past, though, that with Watkins out, it seems like either Hardman or Robinson get kind of that wide receiver 2 work. So wanting to avoid pairing those guys together. We also have this conditions tab where we can make conditional rules. So like when lineups contain Patrick Mahomes, we want at least 2 of Kelce, Hill, and we know that we won't be pairing Kelce and Hill together. Demarcus Robinson, we can add Hardman in there. And I'll also add Darrell Williams. His multiplier is high enough, and he figures to get a significant, non-zero kind of pass catching role. Typically, quarterback plus running back isn't a, natural correlative fit, but given the short slate, I think there is enough correlation there to warrant considering a guy like Williams as part of, this Mahomes stack. And then in lineups that contain Breeze, we want at least 2 of Kamara, Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, and Jared Cook. And I'm thinking not to apply that, rule of, no more than 1 of Kamara plus Thomas. They play 2 different positions, so it does feel like there's a little bit less of a cannibalistic nature between them. Passes that go to Thomas stand to benefit Kamara long term as it pushes him towards the goal line. So that's something I think to consider. And then we can go to our optimals tab and see the lineups that we generate. We can see that these lineups fill these rules. I'm seeing also now a lot of Cook plus Hooper lineups. So maybe we want to like remove tight end from our flex pool. And now we no longer have double tight end lineups. We have, it's looking like all Breeze lineups. You know, we have Cook. We always have at least one of Cook, Kamara, Thomas. And, you know, Cook, all three of these guys project reasonably well enough. We can see that Kamara projects as the highest multiplied total. This value column for DraftKings and FanDuel is like a per dollar value for SuperDraft formats. It's going to show you the raw SDP projected times their multiplier. You can see that here. So Kamara projects quite well. Thomas projects quite well just behind Demarcus Robinson in terms of most projected multiplied fantasy points. And then Jared Cook is projecting at the top of the tight end pool. So not surprising that we're getting plenty of lineups with all three of these guys, but we're always having at least two. So like here's a Hooper instead of Cook, but still Kamara plus Thomas. We can check our exposure and we can see that we're just getting all Breeze lineups. If we want to diversify and get more Mahomes lineups, we can set an exposure cap of like, I don't know, 65% on quarterbacks. And that will cap our exposure to individual quarterbacks. We could also go in and manually edit. So like, let's say we wanted a 65% exposure cap on all quarterbacks, but wanted Mahomes to get no more than, I don't know, 45% exposure. We could go in, double click the exposure cell, type in 45, control enter to lock, and it's probably negligible just given that Mahomes isn't, you know, he's only getting up to 6 out of 20, so 30% of lineups. But, still a way to kind of make one-off exposure caps on individual players. Yeah, so that looks good. We can see we have, these 20 lineups. One thing we might do, like I like to toggle our differentiators up to 2. So the differentiators means that if you look at these two lineups, they only differ in one way, right? Like it's just Kamara versus Cook, 1v1. If we want to make all lineups at least a 2v2 or 3v3, we can toggle our differentiators up. But when we toggle it up to 2, we can see now that we have differentiation at tight end and differentiation at wide receiver 1, and then they're equal everywhere else. So I'm going to go with these 20 lineups. Just going to download our CSV, open that up, and copy all of our cells into our SuperDraft upload template, save that, go back to SuperDraft, upload, and we're going to click our upload CSV. Great, 20 lineups submitted, no errors, continue, enter, successfully saved. Great, so we just applied a set of rules that kind of mimic what we discussed in our Substack article to the optimizer, generated a set of lineups, and uploaded those into SuperDraft. So check out their contests this weekend. They do have some Sunday-only contests, as well as this big rake-free qualifier for their Super Bowl contest. That contest will be, here it is right here, a $4,000 buy-in, $1 million guaranteed prize pool, $300,000 up top. They have a qualifier for that today, rake free. And we'll also have future qualifiers, I think, for NFL slates and NBA, I believe. So feel free to check that out.